I see God in every face. I see God in every place. I see God throughout the race. Or could it be just me? I see God in each one's eyes. Now I start to realize, and it comes as no surprise. Living love is what I see. God is near, God is here, in this sphere of love and peace. God loves all, large and small. We'll not fall when we release. Splash your love on everyone. Splash your love, share in the fun. As God kids, we share the sun right here, right now, forever and ever. And God is here.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome, all you beautiful souls who are here and those who are watching and those who will be watching later. We welcome you. My name is Stephanie, and it is my pleasure to greet you and thank you for joining in with us. Those of you who are watching live stream, we affirm that we are all one in spirit. Our guest speaker today is Reverend Rich Broderhausen. Thank you for being here. His talk today is God is a 3-letter word. Yeah, right? So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And while we're giving thanks for being here, I want to thank Michael. Thank you so much for being here as our musical team today. We appreciate you so much. It's always a pleasure to have you. And additional thank yous go out to our media team, because without them, none of this happens. So Byron feels like a road runner kind of day. Pardon me, I know who you are. Byron and Wayne, thank you so much for your contributions. We appreciate so much what you do to keep us online and up and running so that people can watch me babble. More and more. Well, thank you very much. And please feel free to join me in prayer. Sweet Spirit, we open our hearts to receive you. We greet this day centered in the knowledge that we are all one in the Spirit of the Christ. It is from this consciousness that we each become an individual expression of the love of God. We envision sending this love out to our world, seeing love extending out to our Unity community, to the city of Spokane, and out across the globe. We honor all those who worship on this day, no matter what religion, for we know that there are many paths to God, but there is only one God. In the warm and loving spirit of unity, we say, thank you, God, and amen. Now we get to hear a little more of that fabulous music from Michael, and then Rich will lead us in meditation.
Fill me with your love, God, this love I may share. Fill me with your peace, God, this peace I Yes, we walk in love and peace, and with all we share. Fill me with your love, God, this love I may share. Fill me with your peace, God, this peace I may share. Yes, we'll walk in love and peace, and with all we share.
Thank you, Michael. Beautiful flowers, but I can't see you. In fact, these are gorgeous. Good morning, everyone. So today we will be doing a special meditation. But before we start, some of you may or may not know that Jim, Sandra's husband, passed quietly last evening. And so today we want to definitely hold her in our thoughts, in our prayers, send her our healing love, because this is not an easy time for her, for sure. Also, some of you may remember Jackie White, Joey and Jackie, the two sisters, Joey Cathcart and Jackie White. And Jackie passed unexpectedly September the 28th, and I'll be meeting with Joey this week. Passings are difficult for those who are closest to the one who has taken the next step. Even though we trust and know that life is eternal and that we're always connected, there's still a certain amount of pain and suffering that goes along with that, because we're dwelling in this human condition. And so, as I go into this meditation, and Wendy just brought this up to me, we send out these. Larry Gaynor came up with this idea many years ago, and we ordered 150 of these sweet little bears to be basically care bears to give to people who are going through sickness or trouble or emotional or mental pain. So I'm going to set this little baby right here, and we'll just take a moment in this moment and send your love, my love, through your heart and into this little bear. This bear Sandra will receive. And so let's just take a moment and focus our love and attention and our healing thoughts through this bear to Sandra, and directly to Sandra as well. But let's love on her and Jackie's family also right now, especially Joey. speak out loud the truth that we love you, Sandra. We love you, Sandra, together. We love you, Sandra. Feel our love now, together. Feel our love now. Okay, so in this meditative and prayerful mode, I'd like to share with you something that has become actually very meaningful and very important to me in my life. And it's called meditation prayer. It comes from the book, Christ Returns, the Christ Letters, which you have heard me mention before, unless you're here for the very first time. By the way, if you're here for the first time, anybody here for the first time today? But been a long time. Well, we welcome you back in the warm and loving spirit of unity. And so, this is a meditation that the Christ gives through this particular book that comes to us through the recorder. I believe that it's as valid. It's as valid for me as the Course in Miracles was valid for me many years ago. Truth is where it resonates with you. And so this resonates with me. And the meditation asks you to become as relaxed as you possibly can. We do that by taking deep breaths, by just relaxing our shoulders, actually moving into even maybe a little bit of a slumbering mood without recognizing that we're going to go to sleep, but just into that state of relaxation. Maybe just feel that as you breathe in a couple of deep breaths, just let go. And even maybe go just a little limp. If that's comfortable, to just let that chair support you, let the floor support you. And as I read this prayer slowly out loud, I would ask you to visualize each word to enable yourself to enter into the consciousness of the word, and also to enable the energy consciousness of the word to enter into your deepest self. Also, as you hear the words, I would ask you to focus on the center of your forehead and lift your gaze to the center of your forehead, if you can do that. And I will begin. Father, Mother, Life. You are my life. My health. My protection. Father, Mother, Life. You are my perfect fulfillment of every need. And my highest inspiration. I ask that you reveal the true reality of yourself to me. I ask that you reveal reveal the true reality of yourself to me. I know that your will for me is that I shall be fully illumined, that I may be better aware of your presence within me and around me. I believe and know that this is possible. I believe that you protect and maintain me within perfect love. You protect and maintain me within perfect love. And I know that my eventual purpose is to express you. And as I speak to you, I know that you are perfectly receptive of me. You are perfectly receptive of me. For you are universal, loving intelligence that has so marvelously designed this world and brought it into visible form. I know that as you speak to me, that I am sending out a consciousness searchlight into your divine consciousness. I am sending out a consciousness searchlight into your divine consciousness. And as I listen, you will be penetrating my human consciousness and coming ever closer to my increasingly receptive mind and heart. I commit myself and my life into your care. I commit myself and my life into your care. And now we will take a few minutes in the silence. And if your mind should wander, just bring to the forefront of your mind the words, divine life, divine life. So let us be still in the silence. So I invite you to take a deep breath or two. To be grateful for the presence of Father, Mother, life in which we are. To maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. Bring yourself, your awareness back into this space. And just hold this feeling as Michael plays.
Door to heaven, and the key is to open up my heart. I have found the door to heaven. In this moment is where I start. You can find the door to heaven, and the key is to open up your heart. You can find the door to heaven. In this moment is where you start. Take my hand, release your judgment. It's a simple way to start. You can find the waiting answer. Yes, it's true. Right in your heart, you can find the door to heaven, and the key is open up your heart. You can find the door to heaven. In this moment is where you start. God is here within to guide you and to help you do your part. Have no fear, it's right inside you, and this moment is where you start. You can find the door to heaven, and the key is to open up your heart. You can find the door to heaven. In this moment is where you start. In this moment is where you start. In this moment is where you start.
Thank you. Thank you for that meditation, Rich, and thank you for that heartfelt sentiment regarding those that we have lost. Appreciate it. And of course, welcome to those of you who are back who have not been here for a while. We love seeing those faces. Thank you for being here. I'd like to invite you to hold a vision of a peaceful end to the violence in all nations presently at war. I invite you to share in Unity's statement for peace. Together, Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God, for there is one God, and that God, thank you. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime. It is therefore the position of unity to urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever name for guidance during these challenging times, and to pursue peace, not war, for that is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. And now I invite you to stand, pause in silence, acknowledge the divine in each other. For those of you joining us live stream, I encourage you to envision yourself with all of those you consider a part of your spiritual community. Feel yourself expressing love to these individuals and beholding the divine presence within. Thank you. And then more Michael, which is always a treat. And then Reverend Rich Broderhausen, also a treat. So here we go.
In the darkness just before the dawn, sometimes seems that there were no answers, no solutions, no end to travail and heartache. And it feels like there's an abundance of fear and indecision, enough to blot out all the good in the world. Take heart, the sky is brightening in the east. The time has come for awakening. Ooh, the sunlight of the Spirit is shining forth, as a new dawning of awareness breaks over the horizon. A new life awaits you who rise. Ooh. The dark clouds of fear and indecision are swept away in the ever-brightening rays of love and understanding. Here and now, in the center of all eternity, you are alive. Ooh. The warmth of knowing that you are loved and cherished by the greatest power in all eternity chases away the chill of the loneliness of the long, dark night of the soul. Awake, arise, open up your eyes. The spirit of the universe is calling you. Awake, arise, see bright and sunny skies. Your fondest dreams and hopeful schemes are coming true. Awake, arise, it's such a sweet surprise. Who'd think you could return from oh so far behind? Awake, arise, for now you realize that God has really touched you in your heart and mind. It's clear that you come through the worst, and even though your bubbles burst, you had enough to make it and survive. The time is now, the moment's here. You're filled with peace, no room for fear. You're fully and completely and ever so sweetly alive. Awake, arise, open up your eyes. The spirit of the universe is calling you. Awake, arise, see bright and sunny skies. Your fondest dreams and hopeful schemes are coming true. Awake, arise, it's such a sweet surprise. Who think you could return from oh so far behind? Awake, arise, for now you realize that God has really touched you in your heart and mind. Let the light of God surround you. Let the love of God enfold you. Let the power of God protect you. Let the presence of God watch over you where you are right now. God is, and all is well. Amen. Good singing along.
I should have asked you to leave it down because something came to me, and I'm going to ask you to, if you can, Byron, to go back to Unity Statement of Peace. And we will get to that just a little bit later. So, hi, everyone. Hi. How are we doing today? Outstanding, great. I'm going to bring you down now just a little bit. Thank you for the songs, Michael. That particular song of Michael's I have loved forever. I think it was kind of an Easter song to begin with, but I love it because it calls us higher. It calls us to awake, right? and arise, and to open up our eyes rather than keep our eyes closed to what may be going on within us, as opposed to what's going on around us. As I, again, look at the world today, it's astounding, isn't it? To recognize all that is going on in a good way. Because we're not supposed to recognize all that's going on in a good way, according to those who control our media. Let's be real serious about this. And I'm not, I think people in the media have a good intention, but unfortunately it appears that they're serving us what we want to eat. And what we want to eat as a civilization or as quote-unquote humanity seems to be what the is wrong. And you can put any word you want in there. But that seems to be what we're being fed and what we see. And it's created for us an unreal life. It's created for us an unreal life. And today, my talk is, God is a 3-letter word. Originally, I was thinking of just calling it letting go of God. But that might be just a little bit too much, because what do you think of when you say the word God, or when you hear the word God? What do you think of when I say, God is a 3-letter word, right? But how about OMG? What does that make God? A letter, a one letter, OMG, seems to be the way of communicating these days. You've noticed that, haven't you, on the internet? OMG? I mean, if you don't know all the abbreviations, you're really out of it now. LOL. Okay, so when you say God, what comes to your mind? Life. Presence and power. All-encompassing. All love. Spirit. What do you think the normal thought about that 3-letter word God is out there in the realm of humanity and what we see these days? Well, that seems to be still one of those deals. I'm wearing this today. By the way, I did wear it. I like wearing a tie on Sundays, so I'll put it on just for a second. I'll try not to speak down low into it. Okay? I always felt like when I would come to Sunday service and I was giving the message that it was appropriate for me to wear a tie. And I think that comes from my Catholic upbringing, because being a little altar boy, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with Catholic Mass, but one of my biggest claims to fame was that at the time I was the youngest altar boy ever to be at St. Charles. I was still in the first grade. I learned all my Latin responses, and so this to me is like the priest putting on his stole in order to be that it's a sacred time. And yet, I've become a little confused over the days, because I see so many people come to the pulpit and they're dressed very casually. Evidently, this is to not maybe bring back old ideas, or just to say, hey, you can come as you are here and you're welcome as you are. So today, you see what I wore. I wore this shirt that is a YOU shirt, Youth of Unity, from many years back. And it's got all the world religions on it, major ones. But in the center is a meditative being. And it also discloses the 7 chakras, which I don't know if science recognizes the 7 chakras or not yet, but we certainly do recognize that there are energetic powers and centers within us, starting with the one that comes right from above us that energizes. What do you suppose may come right through the crown of our forehead and into our heart? What might we call that? We might call that Christ life, divine power. Pardon? Light. Might we call it God? Where does our energy come from? Are we generating it ourselves? A lot of us think we are. At times we proceed in our lives as if we're generating everything, that it's all up to us. Maybe that is, and here's the meditation that I gave, why it means so much to me, is it takes the focus off of a quote-unquote God of many names. And this is part of what is in our Unity's Declaration of Peace, or Statement of Peace. God has so many different names, but God has so many different understandings. How many people have been murdered in the name of, can we even begin to count? Probably not. How many churches today, which is astounding to me, teach that Jesus would want you to kill these people that don't believe the way that you are? And don't just think that this is not true. I've heard the stories about the churches who have taken on such political angst that they think that it's okay. I remember when I don't know where, this is may offend you, and I'll apologize right now, but I think there was a time when one of the famous little bywords was "kill a commie for Christ." Do you remember that? You don't remember that, and that was back in the 60s. It was part of, maybe it was being facetious about it, but there's been so many things done in the name of a God that people do not really understand what that presence and power is. And so I have come to this understanding for myself that this 3-letter word, and it's so difficult not to use this word. I find myself, oh, God. I hit myself, right? I bumped myself. What's the first thing to say? Oh, God. I was used to, growing up, I was used to a person who was very close to me always saying, damn it. You know that one? That was, maybe it's not so familiar these days, but it used to be, and I never did really get that, but the power that was in there was not really understood. And so I've come to this understanding for myself that I am working my way. And sometimes we're told, when you speak from the pulpit, don't tell people what you're working through on your own, because, you may work yourself right out of it pretty soon. But our co-founder, Charles Fillmore, did say, hey, I reserve the right to change my mind tomorrow if I have a different insight and understanding. And unfortunately, I think what has happened even for many in Unity is to stick with the old rather than to embrace the new and what needs to happen. So would you pull that up for a second, Byron? This just struck me as I was reading that. Also, even over here, so we have the lamb and the lion. So Glenda Green painted this picture. Jesus came, appeared to her, and said, hey, this is a picture that I want you to paint of me so people will have a different understanding. I don't want people looking at me on the cross because I didn't die for their sins, okay? And there's one that's really hard for people to handle, and maybe you don't need to handle it. And if you believe that, that's fine. But Jesus died because he PO'd some Jews really, really badly. And they said, we got to get rid of this guy. And yet, the message that Jesus came as was watered down over time, even his disciples. And I'm taking some of this from the Christ returns, speaks his truth. That makes perfect sense to me. That when Jesus came and he was teaching his disciples and apostles, they didn't really understand everything that he was trying to teach them. One of the things that unity teaches is that we create our own reality through our thoughts and through our feelings. Yet we don't seem to always trust that that's true. Because how could this thing happen to me if it was part of my creation? Well, it's part of my creation because obviously I'm thinking I need to learn the lesson that this has here for me. And so this is what's happening right now. And so I'm kind of getting off on a little tangent here, but the Christianity was greatly influenced by Jewish doctrine. And the one God and the focus on the masculine rather than the feminine, mother, father, God. I believe if Jesus was here today, he would be saying mother, father, God, at least in this group, because we understand that there's a divine feminine, a divine masculine. And I believe that he had been speaking about the mother God aspect, that he never would have made it to the crucifixion. He wouldn't have lasted that long because that was not the prevalent belief. Believe it at that. When I look at this at the lamb and the lion, some people would think a sacrificial lamb when they saw that, wouldn't they? Oh, he's a sacrificial lamb. He died for our sins. But what the message of that was is that he came in absolute innocence. The lion, the sheep there, the lamb represents innocence. What did Jesus say? Unless you become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Does that mean we have to become little kids again? Well, in a sense, when we think about when we first came into this world, we were free of beliefs. They weren't given to us. This is what's right. This is what's wrong. This is what you have to believe. This is the way that it is. We came in as empty vessels, and we got filled up. Or maybe we got all these things plastered on us. As a friend of mine used to say, life is like a fishbowl, and I'm a fish. And when I came in, I'm in this fishbowl, and then everybody started telling me what I needed to believe until my whole fishbowl was covered with what everybody said I needed to be and what I needed to believe. And over my lifetime, what I have done is I've taken off those stickers one at a time to determine what it is I really believe. So this particular picture of the lamb and the lion that you see in the cloud, is that Jesus came with words that were so powerful that they have gone and lasted through to this day. Many of them have been misinterpreted. Many of them have been misinterpreted. I don't know why we still dwell in an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Isn't it refreshing? And I was reading the paper, and I don't know how I would feel about this, particularly myself. I think I know how I might feel. The Parkland shooter, if anybody's been following that the jury came down and because one person on that jury said, no, we're not going to, I can't go along with the death penalty. We are not going to put that person to death for what they did. That person will be imprisoned for life. But in the newspaper, as I read, so many of the people who are related to the victims are so disappointed that they won't get an eye for an eye, that this person will still be able to be alive. And yet, what is the sixth commandment? Thou shalt not kill. Well, I don't have time to get into all of those aspects of it. However, I just don't have time to go there. I'm sorry. Let's go to this. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict. What if we put an I statement to this? Unity is this conglomeration of churches around the world and around the United States and Canada, and this is a statement that is made. Well, what if I stand for peace in the presence of conflict? Then I have some ownership into this. I'm not just putting it on, okay, this is what unity stands for. It's time for me to own this. It's time for me to awake and arise in my consciousness and declare it. I stand for peace in the presence of conflict. I stand for love in the presence of hatred. I stand for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for life. Where does life come from? Well, here we would say it comes from this divine creation, this coming together of the masculine and feminine you can call it the Big Bang, I guess you can call it, but it started somewhere, didn't it? Before the Big Bang, scientists can't still explain, well, where did the Big Bang actually originate? At any rate, let's suppose it was I honor the many names for life, the many paths to life, the many ways to worship life. God doesn't want to be worshipped, by the way. God doesn't want to be worshipped. You worship some type of a being, an idol, something like that. But do we worship life? Can we worship life? I think we can worship life. This idea of worshiping God, boy, does that put a lot of connotations into all of what's going on, all of the thinking, all of the religions. For there is one power and one presence of life, and that life loves each one of us equally. I stand for peace in my lifetime. It is therefore my position to urge all nations, all leaders, and all people to turn to life by whatever name for guidance during these challenging times and to pursue peace, not war. For this is what honors the life of everyone. That we share this life. It is divine, it is holy, it is sacred, it is beautiful and wonderful and huge. But I can only imagine if people embrace the idea that we are all of one creation, that we're not separated by religions and our particular view of that three-letter word. If we recognize we all do share the same life, and if I take your life, I take my life. Boy, there's a lot of stuff to unpack along this trip. A lot of stuff to unpack. Oh boy. Speaking about the internet, I saw a wedding ceremony the other day, and the preacher at the wedding ceremony said, "I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may update your Facebook status now." Sorry. Well, I'm not really. I thought I'd throw that one in. Last week I was in Yakima and had the opportunity to speak there. Where's the rest of my stuff? And it was a great time. Michael is going to sing a song following the love offering. It's a John Denver song, and I'm going to share the words with you right now. It's called Rhymes and Reasons. Interestingly enough, it was written in 1989, some time ago. So you speak to me of sadness and the coming of the winter. The fear that is within you now, it seems to never end. Anybody afraid of anything out there these days? Some are, some aren't. Depends on where you are. The fear that is within you now seems to never end. The dreams that have escaped you and the hope that you've forgotten. You tell me that you need me now. Who do you need now? And you want to be my friend. And you wonder where we're going. As we look around today, we wonder where we're going, don't we? Where's the rhyme and where's the reason? And it's you. And I cannot accept that it is here we must begin to seek the wisdom of the children, to become completely open, to let go of all beliefs and accept what is coming into you now, to let go of all preconceived beliefs. Is that possible? To be in the moment, to be here now, to be mindful, totally. And it's you cannot accept. It is here we must begin to seek the wisdom of the children and the graceful way of flowers in the wind. For the children and the flowers are our sisters and our brothers. And their laughter, and laughter is good. Laughter is absolutely healing, folks. So don't be afraid to laugh in the face of what others may cry about. Their laughter and their loveliness would clear a cloudy day, like the music of the mountains and the colors of the rainbow. They're a promise of the future and a blessing for today. This was 1989, and he wrote this: though the cities start to crumble and the towers fall around us, the sun is slowly fading. It seems colder than the sea. It is written, from the desert to the mountains they shall lead us. By the hand, by the heart, they will comfort you and me. In their innocence and their trusting, they will teach us to be free. Who will teach us? For the children and the flowers are our sisters and our brothers. Their laughter, their loveliness would clear a cloudy day. It's pretty cloudy out there right now. And the song that I am singing is a prayer for non-believers. Non-believers in what? The unity of all life, the unity of all of us, the unity of all creation, the holiness and sacredness of it all. Come and stand beside me. We can find a better way. And we will. And you, 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 and you are all part of this process. Things may get rough, rougher than we imagined over the next few years, but the spiritually minded will prosper and survive and bring others to stand beside us. For we know there is a better way. And what is that way? What is that way? I got to tell you, I got to share this, and I know I'm running over, but that's the way life is. Interesting book, All Things Made New, written by a Unity author, Imelda Shanklin. I think it was probably written in the 40s. And in this particular chapter on forgiveness, and she's talking about all kinds of different things, but here's one that it probably makes a lot of sense for us today. She says, there is the casual offense. We are offended by the way in which things in the world are going, offended by the acts of officials and others who influence the trend of events in world affairs. Are we offended? To permit ourselves to be hurt is to transgress, to pass from the calm of God's mind to the vortexes of human mentality. Life is activity. Each person in the world has their own scheme of life, which they try to promote. They act in the way they think will promote those ideas. God does not take offense at these acts. And if we permit ourselves to be offended at them, it is because we think that our scheme is the universal scheme. I think Michael sang a little bit about judgment earlier. And we've talked about it many times. Criticism, condemnation, judgment, blame, and gossip keep us tied to the human when we are striving to be the divine. The act is wrong to the one who sees it as wrong. It is not wrong to the ones who see no wrong in it. When Jesus ministered in the flesh, his acts were extreme offenses to many, so extreme that because of them he was crucified. But he didn't do anyone ill. So as you look upon the world scene, observe, do not judge, and you're on the path to your divinity. God bless you. Amen.
Well, Rich, as usual, you just go and knock it out of the park. It is fantastic when things that I'm talking about in my own life and things I'm talking about with other people and new ideas that are coming into my world, I hear validated right here. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate you and I appreciate your words. And thank you for what you gave us today. That was just, mwah, thank you. Now, as we move into the gathering of our gifts, I invite you to consider the gift that you wish to share with the ministry as we pass the offering bags. For those of you who are at home, we will have instructions on display for how you can donate if you choose to. And Michael will offer us something beautiful while the ushers pass the bags. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. That love is the thing. So you speak to me of sadness and the coming of the winter. Fear that is within you now seems to never end. And the dreams that have escaped you and the hope that you've forgotten. You tell me that you need me now and you want to be my friend. And you wonder where we're going, where's the rhyme and where's the reason, and that you cannot accept. It is here we must begin. Seek the wisdom of the children. graceful way of flowers in the wind. For the flowers and the children are my sisters and my brothers. Their laughter and their loveliness could clear a cloudy day, like the music of the mountains and the colors of the rainbow. They were promise of the future and a blessing for today. Though the cities start to crumble and the towers fall around us, the sun is slowly fading, it's colder than the sea. It is written from the desert to the mountains they shall lead us. By the hand and by the heart they will comfort you and me. In their innocence and trusting they will teach us to be free. For the children and the flowers are my sisters and my brothers. Their laughter and their loveliness could clear a cloudy day. And the song that I am singing is a prayer to non-believers. Come and stand beside us, we can find a better way.
Thank you. Don't you love that line? The song that I am singing is a prayer for non-believers. That's fantastic. Doug, thank you. Please join me in blessing these gifts as we affirm together our love offering statement. Together, divine love in, through, and as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I receive. Thank you. I'm telling you, it's Roadrunner Day. It's all blah, blah, blah. But however, having said that, if I can get the words out, I invite you to place any prayer intentions into the box before you leave today. And our prayer team, along with Silent Unity, will pray for you for the next 30 days. Or feel free to call your prayer requests into the church, the office at 509-489-6964. Thank you, Doug. And then, Rich, do you want to usher in the children? Oh, no, you can't. We've got announcements. But get ready. We do have announcements. We are doing pumpkin decorating today. And if you didn't bring a pumpkin, we still have a few here. So feel free to stay and show off your mad pumpkin decorating skills. And have a snack or some coffee. Just visit, check them out. And then, of course, in November, we have our harvest party. That is on the 12th of November, and it's from 5 to 8. This is going to be a family fun-filled evening. We've got crafts, we've got prizes. I think we've got bingo. Bingo. Trolls invited. Anyway, RSVP, please, for that. And there are flyers for this all over the place. It's on our email. It's on our website. It is everywhere. So if you don't know about this, you are in a cave. Come out of the cave and come to the party. We would like to see you. All right, Rich, let's bring in the kids.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God.
Everybody sing.
In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God.
All right. Hi, kids. You're all over there. Zachary, Morgan, Emily, Evan. Oh, and Elizabeth too. What did you all do? Amber, the biggest kid. So, what did we learn today in Sunday school? What did you learn today? You want to share, Emily? What's this, babe? I was going to ask you, who takes care of you? Can you tell us?
God.
Who?
God.
God. Awesome. Who else takes care of you? Anybody else take care of you? How about Mom? How about Dad? They take care of you too? You know what? Mom and Dad take great care of you, don't they? They give you food. They give you a place to sleep. Do you guys like your beds? Everybody like your bed?
Family.
It's a way high bed? Yeah, okay, so you like your bed. So a lot of people take care of you, and a lot of people love you. And all of those people that are taking care of you and love you are expressions of God. You know what expression is? Here's an expression. Here's an expression. They're all smiling at you because they love you. So there's the love that is from what we call God, what we call life, comes through our parents and our families and our friends. And do you take care of anybody? Zachary, your eyes are so wide open. Do you take care of anybody? I bet you do. You know, you take care by giving that love back to your parents and your friends and your sisters and your brothers. So, this week, we are taken care of, you are taken care of, and we take care of others. Okay? Okay, we're good with that? All right. Well, let's bless our children. Children, we love you, we bless you, and we are so grateful that you are in our lives. Let's affirm that together. Children, we love you, we bless you, and we are so grateful that you are in our lives. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. That's lovely, Emily. I love the feather, too. Thank you. By the way, you know, I do highly recommend that book that I showed you. And I do have a copy of that meditation prayer and the process of it. If anybody would like it, feel free to take it. And there's also, this book is available online. It's like $22. I like to give it to the whole world. So what can I say?
Lastly, we are joining in circle for our peace song, after which please join us in our prayer of protection afterwards. And then have wonderful days, have wonderful weeks, have wonderful lives, and know that you are loved and you are loved.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you, everyone.
There are those who think they know the world's too mean for love to grow. I've seen firsthand what love can do. If you can start that broken heart, it'll work for you. The wheel of love keeps rolling round, picking up love, passing it around. There's no place love can't be found. Listen close, she'll hear the sound. Wheel of love keeps rolling round. If you are lost and all alone, for you the sun has never shone. I see the truth for you today. It's time to live. The love you give returns your way. The wheel of love keeps rolling round, picking up love, passing it around. There's no place love can't be found. Listen close, you'll hear the sound. Wheel of love keeps rolling round. Just put a smile upon your face. Your love and joy can fill this place. Just be the love you want to see. Then no more tears and no more fears for you and me. The wheel of love